I'm not going to talk to you about the Segway World Challenge, named after Woz, because I think we covered that in advance. First of all, I suppose one of the questions that everybody would ask is, how do you see Apple now? And where will it go in the future, do you think?
After Steve Jobs' death, which hit me hard in a lot of different ways, not only, the good that he brought into my life with a lot of products in his late, from the iPhone on, that kind of era, but also, our early friendship and things we did, that was hard. But a lot of people said, oh my gosh, you build up a lot of myths in your head, and Apple's prominence really came from one person and his thinking and his ability to pursue and put effort in and take the risk to go after the future that seems obvious, even if it doesn't make it economically, business-wise right away. So a lot of people thought Apple lost Steve Jobs. They're not going to be innovative, whatever that means. Innovation is anything you want it to mean in the world. It's a bad word because everybody can use innovation for any little improvement at all. But new categories of products that let us live our life in a different way. They don't just improve what we have, but they take us on a totally different course. Those things don't come about every year. Almost maybe once a decade, there's something that big and substantial that comes along and is now going to change life forever. And people were expecting, oh my gosh, Apple had a bunch of hits in a row, and where's the next one going to be? Well, they don't come that often, so it might have to wait. I believe that Apple's doing very well right now. I believe that according to the principles and strategies of managing a company that Steve Jobs himself had, Apple is still adhering to those. I think one of the reasons that Apple doesn't have an electric car out yet, and a leader of our program supposedly got dismissed or went somewhere else, I think it's because probably Apple was working on a car and it wasn't that insanely great. It wasn't that stunning, that it was compelling. It was just another electric car that would make a ton of money. So that's my guess. But I like what Apple's doing. The software enhancements started becoming very personal to the thinking of the user and the needs of a user in our iPhone software. And I was very impressed by the last few versions of iOS for that. And Tim Cook I admire greatly because he has not only kept Apple on a course, a very good course for the direction that it has set, but he has taken the company into a lot of charitable areas. For example, a group, out on the East Coast would tell me, oh, we have this coding program for girls, and Apple is actually sponsoring it and doing funding and stuff. And there was a long period of time under Steve Jobs where we didn't do those things. And Tim Cook has recognized, the equality in gender and ethnicity throughout and also, sexual bias, whatever. Throughout the company extremely well, and any gifts you give to charity are matched now. So I really admire those things. I think he's doing a great job and is a hero to me. And when he first took over, I wasn't sure, but I said I'll give him 2 years till I make a decision, because after one CEO leaves a company, the projects that are in the works and in the pipeline in a huge company like Apple are still going to be roughly the same products 2 years later. It takes about 2 years before you're looking at a company that is almost totally driven by one person at the top if they drive it as a very strong, a strong leader.